live?
It's not lit yet, no.
It should be live.
You know, I take my little stuff a little wider. Hook on.
We live? And we're online.
And we are here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hump Wednesday. Mahogany Roots, my truth. We're going to talk about a few things on today. My guest was unfortunately able to join me today. So, hey, you know, he said, be ye also ready. You got to be ready at all times. Father God, we thank you for another day. I thank you for this day that was not promised to us. We just want to tell you thank you for your goodness, your greatness, your kindness, your love, your peace, your understanding, your overstanding. We want to just tell you thank you on today. Thank you all for joining me here on Tea Time. Let's talk about it. Mahogany Roots, my truth. I'm Jolene Diggs, and I am so grateful that you all decided to join me on today. We're going to talk about healing and healing from loss. Loss of a loved one, siblings, children. We're going to talk about all of that on today. I kind of did some research on some things because I really wanted to fully understand research the dealing with grief and the loss of people, and I found out a lot of very interesting things on today. I was sitting on my patio enjoying the rain, allowing God to actually minister to me through the rain. You know, through rain there's blessings. I do that every time. Y'all gotta forgive me. Y'all know I'm learning as I go. And I am just absolutely ecstatic. Ecstatic has been my new word, if y'all know me. I am excited about everything that is about to go forth. How does trauma affect your mental health? And today we're going to talk about, I'm going to go back on my experiences of loss. And then I'm gonna talk about some things that I researched on, and I found some things that could possibly be a good help to some of us that are still grieving or going through that process. The grieving process, sometimes goodbyes can be very hard. We're going to talk about the complication of grief, complication of bereavement, and can grief be measured? The pain of grief and the coping mechanisms of grief. Are you angry? Are you acceptive? And what are some things that help you get past being angry and upset and dealing with the complications of dealing with grief? My experience with grief, I guess I can share this because I lost a child. I had a miscarriage. Actually, I had carried the child until I was possibly about, it wasn't a full fetus. It was still an embryo. But the hands and the legs and the hands were, but you could tell that it was not fully formed. And I really didn't know the experience of that. So I definitely understand what it is to have a loss. I really can't even explain it, but I can. If those of you that understand what I'm trying to say, I remember having labor pains, but I did not know what labor pains was because I was young at that age. It was my first. And during that time, my brother was married to Regina. Regina kept my secret all of those years. I tell her to this day, she will forever be my girl. I don't want to go into the details of it, but it was not a pretty thing. It was not. It was not a good thing. Not good thing. Not a good thing for me. Um, I did not understand the process of having to deal with or be all right with having a loss. It was a complicated grief. I didn't want to have um, I didn't want to have a funeral. I just had a private ceremony for myself. Um, and around that time, every year, I feel some type of way. Um, I had to mentally get myself together to be able to cope with and understand what the grieving process was of losing a child. I didn't have I didn't go through the process long enough, but it was long enough for me to bond at a time and place where it's effective to me as far as my feelings uh, and my emotions. He would actually, it was a boy, and he would actually be older than Deshauna. Um, so that would probably be around about, Deshauna would be 36, so it would probably be around about 37. Yeah, 37, 38. But it was horrific how the miscarriage was. And being a mother and having to cope with a miscarriage and losing an infant or a child is something that is very hard to actually deal with. People don't know me. They don't know my story. They just know me because I have for so many years I always had to have a smile. I always had to walk through life with a smile. I always had to be all right. But understand that grieving is a process and it's something that you have to mentally prepare yourself on a daily basis to be able to make it through day by day. If anybody have any questions, please feel free to send your questions, or if you have an opinion or on anything, you are more than welcome to share your opinion on the Jolene Diggs Massey Facebook page, and let's talk about it. Um, it's just my truth. Um, what are the biggest questions you have in this moment about grief and or life without your person? that you lost. It's a million and one things that I could say. I can only imagine if God would allow me to still carry him to full term, and the closeness of he and his other siblings. I can only imagine what it could be like, and they're probably shocked at this time if they're listening, because I've never shared that with my children. I've always kind of held that to myself. We're going to talk about 3 C's of grief. I want to talk about the 3 C's of grief. These 3 C's are choose, connect, and communicate. Choose, connect, and communicate. A way to move forward and how to navigate through grief. Yes, Tam, it is. It's a very hard process. You have to prepare yourself, or allow God to prepare you mentally to be able to deal with it. I wasn't going to share it, but then God said, you say you're going to tell your truth. And telling your truth means that you have to tell what's a part of you, because I don't know who I may be helping through this season or during this time. I really wanted my guests to be here on today, but unfortunately they couldn't make it because they had an emergency to come up. But I definitely understand. To embrace the process and to make a plan dealing with grief through universal or by universal isn't a one-size-fit-all experience. So everybody does not go through the same experience. Some may be at a much deeper place than others. I can only speak for myself during that time, and I can only imagine if you've had years to be with your person that you've lost, years of connecting and bonding with that person. That experience could be something so much more deeper than the experience of just only having for the little time that I did. Again, I say I'm only speaking for myself because of the child that I lost during a miscarriage. And I was young. I didn't understand. I didn't understand that process at the time. Wow. But I can only imagine to have bonded for years and years with your child and to instantly lose them. I'm sure that's a lot of hurt. And like I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all experience because everybody's experience is totally different. The 3 C's, to build a plan and consider the 3 C's: choose, connect, and communicate. To choose, connect, and communicate. With moving forward, grief can hurt, and it can hurt very, very bad. It depends on each individual, your willpower, your understanding, your overstanding, the process of you allowing God to help you through that situation, to navigate you through that situation, to give you the necessities that you'll need on a on a day-to-day base. Um, Prayer, supplication, most of all, a team. If you have a team that's there for you, a team that can be there for you during that time, uh, and if you able to have a team that could be there during the comforting time, because most times people are going to be there the first 3-4 months. I'm gonna say, if that long, they'll be there that long, being dedicated, and eventually it'll all fall off. Then you're at that point to where you're in that situation, sitting and contemplating on your own. You're dealing with that grief alone and by yourself. Then it's again at that point to where it's just you and God. So when it gets to the point to where no one is coming around, the phone calls will stop and the encouragement will stop. Where are you then? Where are you at that particular time? Where are you at that point of life? I'm sharing a part of me because I didn't have a lot of people that I could actually go to and talk to them about the things that I was dealing with as a teenager and as a young adult until I got to adulthood. A lot of things I couldn't back then. You couldn't ask a lot of questions or a lot of things back then because of some things you just weren't supposed to ask grown folk. You know, some. And I guess I could say because my mom was really kind of strict. I'm gonna say that, really kind of strict. So a lot of things they do stop. Yeah, that's so true. They do stop. Yes, Adrian. Sometimes it's I don't know how to say it, y'all. I don't know how to put it. But with parents like with the mom like I had, my mom was so strong, but she was very strict. She was strict, very strict. Definitely had to be in the house before the porch light come on. For those of you that know, but the porch light, I just wonder why my friends could be outside and they would still be outside playing. My mom was not going. You gonna get on in this house and you gonna stay in this house. So I guess when I got out there, when I got out the house, I had fun. I did some things that I guess I wanted to do as a teenager, or things that I seen my friends was doing, and I wanted to do some of those things. And you know, she allowed me to do certain things, like going to the skating ring. I did get a chance to go to Crystal Palace on the holidays and on the Sunday nights. I did get a chance to do that. I did get a chance to go to Liberty Land to the all nighters, and we danced all night. And I'm not even gonna lie. At an early age, I was going to the club No Name. At an early age, I was going to Club No Name. Amen. Once I got off the leash, but God, yes, yes. And it was this one particular guy, one particular fella that had my eye. And those of you that know him, know him. Uh, and I forever love him. My first love. You know, so um, we all go through things in life, situations, circumstances. It's up to you or how you're gonna make those things, or how you're gonna plan to make those things to be a better place in your life. Whether you're gonna be that person that hold on to the bad of it, or you're gonna see the good in it. Um, we've all done things. We've all said things. We've all hurt people. We've all done mischievous things. We've all done things that may have caused a problem or issue. I'm just releasing mine in a way that I feel like is best for me. I'm just following the goals. I'm just following what I was told to do when it came to me. Because I can only speak for Jolene. I can't speak for anybody else. Brenda Stewart. Yes. We're going to talk about some facts. The following facts will help you understand some crucial truths about grief and grieving and how we can work through the process to find healing. Grief is normal. So understand that grief is a normal process and it's something that all of us may have to go through at a certain time or place. But grace and mercy. Yes, ma'am, Brenda Stewart. But grace and mercy. Grief is normal. It's a normal process. Nobody can tell you how long your grief will last. Nobody can tell you when you can grief or how long you're supposed to grieve. You're the only person that would know what's the answer to that question or what's the answer for that. It's been 32 years since my mom has been passed on. And it still feels like to me like it was yesterday. Nobody could ever take the place of my mom, but God has blessed me with some bonus mothers that loves me just the same. Still around Mother's Day. May is my worst month. I'm not going to say it's my worst, but it's the hardest month for me. May is the hardest month for me because of Mother's Day and it's my mom's birthday. And every year, it's always at the beginning of May, it comes on me. It's like it's a lifting that I cannot explain. I know when it's coming. I know when it's coming near to May. It's like my whole body does a transformation. My whole body does this thing. And I'm just like in a mood of being depressed during that time. So I had to find some things that made me happy this year. I had to find some things that made me feel like there were some positives. I thought about the positive things. I thought about the things that she did with me, the things that she talked to me about, the things that she the wisdom that she gave, the wisdom that she shared, conversations, mainly her talking and me listening, but the wisdom and the knowledge that she gave us as young ladies. Little girls, but you know, once you get to that age, you want to do what you want to do, and you just want to do things like you want to do them. So we all possibly have been at that place a time or two. Like I said, grief is normal. It's a normal process. The worst kind of grief is yours. Whatever your grief is, meaning beating you up sometimes or feeling like you're the reason, the purpose, or you're the fault, or I should have did this, or I should have that, shoulda, woulda, couldas, and you can't beat you up. You have to be present within that moment and choose your battles and connect with those and communicate it. Those are the 3 C's. Those 3 C's are to choose, connect, and communicate. The way out of grief is just to simply go through it. And I'm not saying that going through it is going to be easy, because it's a very hard process to go through grieving. Because I cried every day for a year when I lost Ryan. Yes. And it's okay. It is all right for you to cry that year. Nobody knows what your grieving point is, but you. We don't know what your circumstances with your child, what you had to deal with your child, what you went through with your child. We don't know that. Only you know that as an individual. So by all means, by any means, any means that's necessary to help you get to that point to where you feel like you're a little bit better every day, each day. You ask God, Lord, give me a little bit more strength on today. I know it was hard yesterday, but God, give me just a little bit more strength to make it through the day. And I know you'll be able to help me through this, help me to make it through it. And he said it's okay to sit and cry. He said you grieve as if there is some hope. He didn't say you couldn't grieve. He said grieve as if there is some hope. So therefore, your hope may not be the next day. Your hope may not be tomorrow. Your hope may not be 2 or 3 days on down the road. Hope may not be a year. It may take 32 years or however for you to get to past that point to feeling where you're at a place to where you're all right and you're able to maneuver and be all right with the loss of that love person, of that person that you love so much, or the loss of your person. Your grief is intimately connected to the relationship. So again, that's whatever relationship you had with that person that of your loss. It's intimately. It's an intimate thing between you and that person. So no one can tell you how you're supposed to feel or go through that grieving process. Grief is hard work. Working on grief is hard work. I can't explain that enough. A day-to-day, day-by-day process of getting up every day knowing that that person is not there with you any longer. To get out of bed, to get up, to make yourself move, to be at a tangible place, to be around other people. And one thing about me, if I'm around somebody and I'm in a place where I'm at that emotional state, and somebody come up and they say, "Well, are you okay?" And that does it for me. That gives me that chance or that moment to release that emotion that I was feeling during that particular time. Losing my brother, Reginald, I felt like was the only person that could really see me for me being me. I felt like Reginald really knew me as his little sister. Um, Reginald was just this cool cat that was not judgmental at all. Now, but he would put you in a place. He would tell you what he felt like was right and fair, or if you was wrong about doing something, he would tell you that part. But he was never a judgmental person. He loved me for who I was as a little girl. He loved me, and it's like after that point, I just got to the point to where I felt like after losing him, it was no need or no. I guess I was reckless during that time. So that was my way of grieving when I lost my brother Reginald. It was as if I just at that point in time I just really it didn't make me a difference, you know. So it's okay not to be okay. One day at a time, we all can do it. Yes, Mimi. What is the hardest thing about grief? Going day to day without that person. I found it to be a very hard place for me to not be able to have phone calls, not being able to visit. And I promised myself that Thanksgiving would not mean that he was gone, but Thanksgiving would be a day for me to reflect on all the things, all the positives that he gave me as a little girl and a big brother, a little sister, and him being a big brother. My brother used to read the dictionaries. He used to say these big old, he used to always want his vocabulary to be on point. And he would say these words, these big words in the dictionary. They had a dictionary in their room when I was allowed to go in their room. Him and David Neal. But he would always read the dictionary and always say big words. And I thought that was so Reginald. To know Reginald was to love Reginald. Those that know my brother knew my brother. To know him. But he was a breath of fresh air for me. He was a breath of fresh air. And the day that military came and got me from school, they were in their uniforms. And I knew once I seen the men in the uniforms, when they came in the school and got me from school and took me from school and took me home, was talking to me, and they was like some things we have to share with you. But I something in me knew that once I saw the military, the suits, the men coming in the military suits to come pick me up from school to take me home, to let my mother and I know that he was taken in a car accident. And like I said, it was out of the children that my mom had lost before. I had never seen my mama cry until that day military took me home and they explained to us that we were no longer going to be able to see Reginald. And it took me, I try to think of the positive things that person did or laugh when something happens. And I know laughing, yes, I try to do the same thing, to think of the positive things so that it could make me be at a better place. To never hear their voice again is so hard for me. I find myself saying things that my grandma would say. Yes, Keita Boo. Those things that she said was for a reason. Bust out the laughing and say, girl, watching over you. That part. Yes. See, that's the good part. That's the part of walking in everything that they had some times, and they had a purpose and reasoning for some times that they spent with us to share with us, so that we'll have some good memories, and all our memories wouldn't be about them being gone and in such a negative way, but some positive ways that they left marks on us. My brother could dance, and my brother loved colors. So I'm here in colors today for Reginald and baby boy. I just wanted to be vibrant on today. Although it's raining outside, I wanted to be some sunshine for myself. Losing someone you love is the hardest thing in the world to deal with. It's the kind of pain that can affect you physically. I mean, you can physically feel pain all over your body. And it says it's a silent killer sometimes, because we hold things in and we don't communicate about it. We just hold it in, and we sit in that pain for so long because it was just unheard of as black people to go to a therapist. You going to see a therapist, you got to be something wrong with you mentally. So, but now I feel as if therapy is a good reasoning for anyone. If you want to better yourself, better your mindset, better your thinking, better your physical, therapy is the best thing for all of us. Be it black, white, whoever it is, Chinese, Mexican, whoever you may be. And if you're dealing with some things that you cannot overcome on your own, please find you a therapist that you are comfortable with. A therapist that you are comfortable with. You may have to go through, quite a few of them, or if you feel that you get that, sometimes you may look up on that one that may be exactly what you need, and be honest with yourself. Leave no doors unturned, no T's uncrossed, no I's not dotted. I mean, you go through the fire. You have to go through that fire and let it burn to be able to get to the process of being able to be healed. Yes, he loved loud colors. Kind of like what I got on now. I got some orange and yellow today. And I wore this, I promise you, I had Reginald in mind when I put this on today. A very necessary topic to speak on as a race of people. Thank you. You look so beautiful in that yellow. Actually, it's orange, but thank you so very much. Does it look yellow? It's yellow. But my jumpsuit was orange. Yeah. Yes, he would wear all colors, loud colors and all. Yes, he would. I almost died in silence until I found out the couch was my friend. Okay? Yeah. You have to find you some kind of peace of mind, some kind of way, going through it, moving forward, and dealing with it. And dealing with it physically, Brenda, when you're not able to have that power in you where I guess I could say that's God's doing when you're able to, because mentally your mind, I'm just grateful that I'm not putting my shoe on my head, as they would say. I'm grateful of the fact that I'm not putting my shoe on my head. I ain't trying to put my pants on my arms. I'm in my right mind, although I've gone through some things, some situations, some circumstances from having losing members, family members, and people that were really close to me. I just thank God that he kept me in perfect peace. He kept my mind stayed on him. I'm not saying that I'm past a certain point and I still have those emotions and feelings. I'm just now learning how to be able to channel those feelings and identify those emotions. So if I feel myself getting to a point where I'm having anxiety, I have to sit in that moment and have to try to find out, where are these emotions coming from? Could be something in the past that it just escape my mind, and then it comes back to my remembrance, and I'd be like, oh, well, so and so happened on this date, or I went through this on that date. So those things can cause you to be at a point to where you begin to have anxiety, or dealing with the circumstance or circumstances, even dealing with a possibility if your child may have been taken in a violent way. Certain things you may see, certain things you may hear, that may trigger those emotions. So you have to sit in that place. Choose to sit in that place. Choose how you will be able to evaluate yourself in that place. When I say evaluate yourself in that place, I mean, does it have you feeling like you don't want to go on any further? You want to stop at this point? I feel like I can't make it. Do you evaluate yourself during that time to help you get yourself past that place to where you feel like you cannot make it any further? Choosing, connecting, and communicating. To connect with that feeling and that understanding, to be like, well, for me, okay, I I lost this child and I lost my brother, I lost my mom. How would I allow those things or those emotions to channel through me to where I can turn it in from being where I'm so down and out and negative and in a negative place to where I want to change it to it's a positive place, to doing some things that I feel like will reflect them in a positive way. So I use those things now in a way to where I'm celebrating them through life. I'm celebrating them every day of my life now. I couldn't go to my mom's gravesite. It had to be at least about 3 or 4, because mom had always told us, don't go back to that grave because I'm not there. It's just, you know, I'm not there. It's a shell of me, but I'm not there. I'm my spirit is at another place. So it took me a while to go back to visit the gravesite. One, because I wanted to make sure that she had a gravestone. And during that time, once they had called me and let me know that they had gotten the gravestone there on the site, so I did go that day. But I couldn't stop crying. I could not stop the tears from falling. I sat there, I laid there, I talked, and sometimes I didn't have anything to say. I just wanted to sit right there and be present for that moment. And I was asking God to show me some signs. God, just show me some signs and let me know that it's okay. I'll be okay. But this is my mom. How am I gonna be able to make it without my mom? Oh, we're losing my father. I want to share that God always allowed me. I don't visit grave sites of family members. I just feel like it would take me back to that moment is over. Yes, and it would. And it would. I remember when my mom had first gotten sick. My mom was dealing with stroke, so that's why I try to make sure I go to the doctor and make sure my cholesterol and all of that is, entwined and chain. My mom dealt with strokes and high blood pressure and diabetes and all of that. Not diabetes, but strokes and heart attacks and stuff like that. She kept having many strokes, and the many strokes would be so many till it would add up to the big strokes. And I remember one night we was living in Walter Simmons. I remember one night Mom was she was getting up, going to the restroom. My room was like right by the restroom. The way the apartments were built, we had steps. You come up the steps, and my room would be right in front of the steps. And then if you go to the right, the bathroom would be over to the right. And Mama was going to the restroom this night, and I heard this loud. It was like a thump, thump. So I woke up immediately. In the midst of me waking up, I could hear some mumbling. So I jumped out of bed and I was like, Mama, you okay? I could still hear her mumbling. So I opened the door up. Once I opened the door, Mama was on the floor. It was as I guess she had hit her head on the wall from the thump. But when I looked at her face, I could tell that she had a stroke during this time. Her face, like one side was drooping. And I immediately ran. I said, Mama, I'll be right back. I'm finna go get some help. I immediately ran down the steps to go next door. We stay next door to Miss Siggers. And I ran next door to them and I told them that Mama had fell out in the floor. She was in the bathroom floor. And I needed somebody to come help me to make sure she was all right. So they ended up calling the ambulance and all of that. And that's when things began to, the strokes began to be a little bit, harder on her. With my dad dealt with prostate cancer. And I was with my father as well when he got sick. I don't know why God chose me or kept choosing me to be the one to be able to be there with them or to find them when they were needing me the most. You don't know my story. You just know me. So I'm allowing myself to be very transparent and allowing you all to understand that although I've gone through so many disasters and circumstances, I still trust God, and He's still keeping me. I still can walk around with a smile. Although some days I be wanting to frown, but I have to walk around with a smile. I try to treat people like I want to be treated. I love love. I love people. I love people. I've never met a stranger. I'm going to say that. I've never met a stranger. And the particular day that my father had gotten sick, my dad used to weigh, I guess, probably about, I would say, about close to 300 pounds. My daddy was a big fella. But cancer had gotten a hold of him so hard from having prostate cancer. My father he was smaller than I am now. Now, he's always had big hands. That's where I get these big hands from my daddy. And these nails don't make it no longer, but they are natural nails. That's how they grow. But I get my hands from my daddy. My feet from my mama. But I remember vividly, my daddy had this record player that, back in the day, it played colorful music. It had different colors on it. It was a TV, record player on one side, the radio on the other side, the TV in the middle, and then it had these little disco lights and stuff on it. So my daddy used to play Bobby Blue Bland. And Bobby Blue Bland used to always sing, you just make that little noise with his throat. The blues singer. Daddy was playing Bobby Blue Bland this particular day. He had got up to go use the restroom. I was with him for the weekend. I think it may have been the weekend or probably the summer, because the summer my dad always had me during the summer. I always spent time with my father during summertime. But this particular day is probably before he had a house in Memphis, and then right in North Memphis off Springdale. I think that's what it is. Right where that brick wall is, it's a railroad track right there. You're going down Chelsea, you'll be able to see the wall right there to your right hand side. This is just my remembrance of it. As a little girl, there was a store and there was a barber shop in this white building that was possibly right around the corner from where my dad stayed. But I remember my dad's friend was in the barber shop. He used to tell me, if anything ever go on with my girl, you go right there to that house right there, that barber shop right there. My good friend, so I can't remember what the man's name is. But anywho, that particular night, my dad had got up to go use the restroom as well. Come back out the restroom, he was on the side of the bed on his knees, kneeling down. I could see that he was in so much pain. The pain was so excruciating for him, y'all. After psychedelic lights, yes. And after experiencing it, I had to run out the house to go run around the corner to the shop, the barber shop, where I remember him telling me his friend, if there was anything I needed or needed to have done, to go around there and tell that friend. And that was the night that I learned that my daddy had prostate cancer. He had been holding that for so long until it got into the point to where he could no longer stand on his own. He had gotten that bad. So to have that memory, but the fond memory I have for my father is coming to pick me up, and we would take that long ride from here. Well, to me, it felt like it was a long ride. We would always leave from here going to Oxford, Mississippi. And that ride for me was everything. Because we had a chance to sing together, we had a chance to talk together, we had a chance to have our bonding time. Because I'm a daddy's girl. I'm truly a daddy's girl. And I guess that has been my problem, to always have been looking for that particular person that I feel like that would fit the same criteria as my father, because my father showed me what it is to have love from a man. Because I know my daddy loved me. I was his gal. I was his girl. Um, Definitely a daddy's girl. Joe Diggs. I have my father's namesake. My daddy's name was Joseph Lee Diggs. He named me Joe Lynn Diggs. Joe Lynn is separate. It's Joe, J-O. And please don't ever put an E on my name, because I'm very sensitive about my name. But it is Joe Lynn. I have the namesake of my father, Joseph Lee Diggs. I have some siblings. I have one sibling my sister, Marilyn Rose, was a sister from my father. And I lost her as well. And the closeness that we had, I feel her presence around me every day as well too. My wall is full of memories of those that I lost, and I talk to them. I speak to them on a daily basis. To him, it's like they're my angels. They surround me daily, and I just want to say that the process of dealing with so much loss can take a toll on you. But I'm grateful to God that it has, yeah, in his truck. He would come and get me in the 18-wheeler truck, or he had a Mack truck, a little Mack truck, pickup truck. I wanted that truck so bad, but his little mean wife would not let me have it. Bless her soul. If she's still alive, God bless her. Because she was so mean. She was really mean. But I pray for her. I have one brother that I'm looking for, Joseph Lee Jr. I have another brother, Jerry Mathis, that lives in Ohio. I love my siblings very much so. Yvonne Jenkins, I love you. Michael is no longer here with us. I love my siblings on both sides. I only have one sister left that's on my mother's side. She's she's my everything, and as well as my sisters and brothers that I have on my father's side. And there's nothing that compares to having siblings and the love of siblings. But it was the joy of taking that ride to Oxford, Mississippi for the summer. Um, and my daddy took very good care of me. He he allowed me to know what love was. He allowed me to know and experience what love was. Um, and I take that with me every day, everywhere I go. This is real personal for me, but I don't mind if it's to help somebody else. If it's to help somebody get through or make it through, overcome, I don't mind. I don't mind it at all. And a bunch of sisters and cousins, yes. A bunch of sister cousins. Thank God for y'all. Um, Cousins that are just like sisters. We're all around about the same age. Um, Same age bracket. We argue, fuss, and fight like any other normal relatives do. But I bet you we got each other back. And we're going to come for you by the masses if need be. Um, That's just a part of family. Sometimes you're gonna fight. Sometimes you're gonna go through some things. That's just a part of family. Um, Still gotta love on them. Still gotta pray for them. Still gotta be there for them. I have a question. I have a question. Um, if at any time God gave you the opportunity to allow you to not be selfish, and He told you that you had to tell on yourself or admit some things about yourself that you may have did or done, and it doesn't matter because you're being transparent. And He said, if I allow you to look this way right now, the glory and the victory that comes out of this, because you were able to share what you felt like was so ugly about you, to where it's actually something that's so beautiful about you. How would you cope with that? How would you deal with that? What would be your feelings and your emotions when it came to that? If you were chosen, He asked you to do a certain thing, and He wanted you to actually be transparent about your life. A whole lot of us would not be able to do it. One thing I'm not ashamed of who I am or who I've become, because I had to go through those things to get to the place to where I am today. Um, if I have to keep doing this alone, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with that at all. If I have to share my downs as well as my ups to help somebody else to make it through, I don't have a problem with it. Because it's not about me. It's all about God. Um, and once I got to the point and understanding that it's not about Jolene. It's about Jolene being a servant, and Jolene serving those that are in need of understanding and being able to overstand and overcome those obstacles that God sets up in our lives. Sometimes it's just like running a track, and they had the hurdles for you to jump over the hurdles. So life sometimes is like that. You have a smooth run, then you have to jump over some hurdles. Then there's a fork in the road. You may have to take a left or a right. God usually tells you to go to right. But being who we are, sometimes we want to take the left. So that makes our narrative of our life to be a little bit harsher or a little bit harder. Trust and obey, Asian, yes. I could be transparent with God because He already knows that part. He definitely already knows. Um, and I'm speaking outside of just speaking with God. When God gives you a vision, something that He set on you, when you don't know which way it's gonna go, you don't know how it's gonna turn out, you don't know. I just know He said go and do, and to be able to help somebody along the way. It's not always an easy road to travel, but God, yes, it's Rosalind Crawford. It's not always an easy road to travel, which is so correct. Um, Moving forward when it comes to grief is a hard process. Um, Is suffering one of the worst kind of things that you have to go through to make things even worse? It seems as if no one else understands or know how you're feeling. No one even understands or know how you're feeling. When you lose someone and you're at that place to where you feel like it just cannot go on. And I don't know how people can get to the point to be like, well, I feel like they need to be over such. You don't know what that individual may have to go through or get through during that time, that place, or that space. Being obedient to God is hard. Yes, it is. I want to thank you all so very much. I know my time is probably up. But be encouraged. Be encouraged. Be you at all times. Be true to you. I can't say that enough. It's now 7 o'clock. And thank you all so very much for the ones that have put your opinions on the page. Next week, Wednesday, hump day. We're going to get over the hump. Mahogany Roots is just my truth. I thank you all for allowing me to share a part of me, giving you a piece of me, a part of me that I've always been transparent about as far as even with singing. I've always shared my life with my family, and I consider us all being family. Teamwork makes the dream work. Get your plan not to fail, and make sure every day you tell God, when you rise up, tell God thank you for another chance. Be you at all times. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. Be beautiful. Always. I love y'all with the love of God. And y'all please stay encouraged. Pray for me, and I'm praying for you. I'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let's talk about it.